I want you to know that Jesus' plans are more important than yours. So often Jesus calls us, he's walking by and he says, come with me. I've got somewhere I want to take you, things I want to show you, stuff I want to teach you. And our first thought is usually, well, I'd go, but I need to put my house in order first, or I need to finish doing this thing that I'm really passionate about first, or I need to spend more time with the people I love first. We always put conditions on it. And what I've learned is that Jesus is always moving. And quite often I'll hear him and he'll say, Darren, you ready to go? And I'll be like, yeah, of course I'm ready to go, Jesus. And then he'll say, right, come on. And then I'll say, well, no, not yet. There's something I want to do. You know, and in my pride and in my arrogance, I think the things that I'm doing, you know, that I'm putting my hand to, are somehow, you know, much more important than the things he's wanting me to do. So there was a time when my wife and I fell in love with Jesus, and he was very clear to us in the things that he asked us to do, it was this verse. It was literally, go out and preach about the kingdom of God. And so there was a time when we had this fire in our bellies and in our bones, and we would just do that in our cars, in our homes, at churches, when we sang music, whatever. And you know, I said, God, I'll go wherever you want me to go, and I'll follow you wherever you're going. And Jesus was very sure to put that to the test, you know. Well, about 4 years ago, my wife came and said, Darren, you need to quit your job. The Spirit of God had talked to her and told her I needed to quit this really great job I had taking care of kids with disabilities. So do you know what I said? I said no. Because I said, baby, we're providing for our family. Life is good. We're seeing people come to Jesus all the time. People have been healed. We don't need to do that. And then 6 months later, God told me again. Now, God doesn't speak as gently to me. He tends to speak really soft and intimately to my wife. But to me, it's kind of like, Darren, you're going to do this now or you're going to get a whipping. That's the way that I hear it. Because I'm stubborn. And so he said, Darren, I need you to quit your job. And this time I did. But it's never that easy. We were going to rely on my wife's salary to make it through that year. But when I was sitting in the car about to go to my bosses to hand in my notice to terminate my employment, my wife called me and said, Darren, they've laid me off from work. And I remember just sitting in my car crying and going, God, you're having a laugh. You said, come follow me. I said, okay. And just as I'm about to do it, we lose all of our security. And I just sat there and cried. And God said this to me. He said, Darren, if you're ashamed of me now, I'll be ashamed of you before God the Father. And I shook in my boots. And I said, all right. I went up and handed my notice in. And so the journey that took us on eventually led us to America. It led to another choice. Jesus said, come follow me. I'm going to America, Darren. And I want you to come with me, and I want you to take your family. And I was so hesitant because I remember this place being a place where I committed adultery, where I caused so much hurt and harm, and I didn't want to come here. You see, I didn't want to leave my family. I didn't want to drag my wife away from community. I didn't want to take my kids out of their wee schools. I didn't want to stop playing football with my brothers. I didn't want to stop doing the things I wanted to do. But I have learned to trust Jesus in that what he has for me is always better. Now, I'm not saying easier. That's not true. Quite often the things that Jesus has for me hurt an awful lot more than the things that I have for me. But in the long term, they're just things of beauty and wonderment. So we've come here to America. You know, what we're trying to do is we're trying to go about preaching the kingdom of God. But you see, I had to give my past away. I had to give the people that I love away to choose to follow him. And it hurts and it stings even to this day. But I get to see the lame walk. I get to see the blind see. I get to see people come to faith. I get to sing about him every day. So following him is better. His plans are better. Are they easier than mine? No, they're not. But you know what? They lead me closer into his arms, closer to his chest. And that's the only place ever worth being.